I mean, Aragorn just gets bukaki'd by magic, though.
Bukkake!
Oh, Jesus.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Gollum's Gamers podcast. So today we are doing another event preview episode. It's for an upcoming GBHL 90 event. It's at 805 points. It is called the Battle of New-Bree here in the south of England. Now, we are joined today by special guest and TO for the event, Mr. Bert. Bert, welcome to the Gollum's
Hello, how are
Gamers
you doing?
podcast, my friend.
Pleasure to be involved and to meet all of you for the first time.
Yes. So welcome to the podcast. So today we are going to do it in our usual preview episodes. We're going to go through the stats that Bert sent over to us and then have a look at some of the lists as well. Sam and I are both going to the event, so we're going to have a look at our lists as well. Usually we do like a tier list at the end, but there's only us two going, so we won't be doing that.
We'll just tell you whose is better. And hint, no hints.
No, not yet. We will get there. So to start off with, we're going to get into the statistics. So starting off with the alliance breakdown. So it was pretty neck and neck when I was doing the stats together between the Legendary Legions and the pure lists, because in previous event previews, Legendary Legions have taken it by quite a margin, but not this.
I think we should let Bert do an introduction for the event first. If
let's do that.
Just before Bert introduces himself, I'm going to
skip that.
Crack open a Rainbow Rhythms for the pod. Oh yeah,
You see. Well, this is like the
that's
intro slide.
gorgeous.
This is like the intro.
The intro slide. Okay, so
Get yourself a Rainbow Rhythms.
So the intention with the event, there've been a whole load of, and they're cracking events, a load of events from like 450 to 600, 4-game, 1-day events, and we all enjoy them. They're all good fun. But I'm really bored of low points. there's just so much of it. So what I wanted to offer, because there are a load of people who don't get to play high point tournaments if they can't go away to 2-day events.
Yeah.
Funky crapshoot. It'd be really cool just to do a big points 1-day event, and everyone can bring out their big Griblies or their Horde armies and all have a good time. So yeah, it's mine. Sam Fitch is my co-host, currently on holiday in the Scillies. He's actually going to do all the technical stuff. I'm just going to be the loud guy talking to people, which is far more fun.
You fit that role well, but
thank you very much. Thank you very much. So three games at 805 points. And to differentiate, we're going to do major wins and minor wins, which kind of does reflect VP diff, but we also wanted to make sure that you couldn't go like 4-0, 4-0, and then a big one, and just leapfrog people who'd gotten, say, 7-0, 7-0. So there really is that aim to get that 7 points of VP diff to lock you in front. I think we'll end up with 5 people going undefeated, which is it's huge, but it should encourage some big aggressive plays, and it should be a lot of fun.
yes.
On alliances and lists and stuff, we kind of had 2 things that we thought would kind of motivate people to do some list building. They're just minor things. So Sam is he's actually Dr. Fitch, which not many people may know. Yeah. He's like
Never
crazy
clogs.
smart. Yeah. And we thought we'd do a best chemistry prize for the best alliance list, and we got some cool ones. And since New-Bree is very cunningly also the name of a kind of cheese, I thought we'd also do a cheesiest list to encourage some of the less themey, filthy alliances. So if we want, we can do the grand reveal now, but the winner of the cheesiest list will be taking home a 1 kilogram wheel of Brie cheese home with them. Yeah, so actual massive wheel of cheese.
How is a cheesiest list determined, Master Bert?
Who can win the prize if Bert you're TO and you're not actually playing?
As the cheesiest man in the SBG season.
Oh, stop it! I'm a theme player. I play pure theme. I think best. So the only prize I am determining is best dressed, because it's very important that everyone wears collared shirts. I may get some more prizes for everyone who turns up wearing something vaguely smart. Sam is choosing best chemistry, and cheesiest list will actually be voted for by the players. So I'll publish all the lists on the event page, and everyone can sling a vote underneath.
Oh, that's fun. I like it.
Yeah, so it won't be just chosen by me. So
I would suggestion, Bert. I liked how Dewey printed out all the lists and had them on a display board. That would probably be a better way to do the cheesiest list.
I saw this.
Then everyone can actually walk up, look at everyone's list.
If I'm honest, though, I didn't actually really go up to it and read it. But
no, but instead of everyone having to go into the...
Oh yeah, I think I'll see whether the hotel have a board, and then we'll go for it. But yeah, it'd be nice for everyone to get a vote for that. But yeah, that's the structure. Other than that, it's a fairly vanilla. We're rolling one random scenario with no. We'll do no pool repeats. And we'll just go from there. So you could go recon, storm the camp, domination. Who knows? Or something of the like. It's a fairly vanilla tournament. I didn't want to have anything like cheesy lists impacting actual game score. So major, minor wins, lots of players, go for big scores, hope for the best.
Yeah,
should be a good time.
There's a lot of high point events now this year. Seems like lots of TOs have thought the same. There's suddenly loads of
for one day events.
No, just in general. There's like 5 or 6 coming up over the next couple of months that are all like 750 plus.
Yeah, but no, should be good.
Yeah. So any comments on the alliance breakdown before we move on?
We've got more pure armies than legendary legions. For the first time, I think we've done a statistical breakdown of those things.
Yes.
Pretty interesting.
Yeah, pure.
It's an interesting mix for like as regards like player pool. It's kind of interesting. There's a decent mix of people who don't go to a massive number of events coming. I think, and New-Bree is great for that. Just because it's so close. Like everyone for like Portsmouth and up is not too hard to get to. London, it's easy. Bristol, it's easy. Oxford and Bicester guys coming down. It's just really accessible. So
kind of right in the middle, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
New-Bree, boring but convenient. It's on the sign on the way in. Yeah.
Perfect.
Have you, as a follow-up from our last episode, have you had any communication with Mr. Michael Bradford? Because he was gunning for some questions of you last podcast. Do you wish to declare a public apology right here, right now?
Ooh.
Public apology? Oh no,
Right
no!
Do it.
No.
We're ending the call.
I have apologised so profusely to Mr. Bradford. I felt absolutely awful. And when I saw how quickly his ticket sold, I did look at it and go, "Oh crap! I'm not going to sell any. There's no one left." So the fact that we sold out in under an hour. First time round. So the support for the event has been huge, and Michael told me he forgives me as long as I come next year, and if I don't, then he'll set fire to various parts of my anatomy.
We may have to go next year, but although the last time we road tripped to an event,
I'm driving.
Maybe us getting on either a plane or a ferry.
A boat. I like the idea of just Bert and Elliot go on a boat. You can it's like a weird kid story. That'd be great.
Yeah, without context, this is probably quite uneasy for the viewers, I assume.
I'm feeling uneasy myself. Yeah.
God knows what goes on. Right, that's going to do it. The alliance breakdown. Moving on, we have a faction breakdown. So for our audio listeners on the Spotify platform, we are on Spotify, if you don't know. We have on the faction breakdown at 5 appearances, we have Mordor and Rivendell. Lots of people taking Rivendell, although it has been allied in some places as well. There's quite a lot of because I saw all the lists. There's quite a lot of like low model count armies that have Rivendell, so like allying in Elrond and a few knights into something else. So they're not all pure Rivendell lists, but yeah. So Rivendell, Mordor taking the top spots. Then at number 4 with 4 appearances, we have Angmar.
Yeah, that was funky. I really wasn't expecting that to really kick in at this event. I think just coincidence. Like, if at least one of the Angmar lists is pretty rogue.
Sure. Nothing about that one just yet.
Oh.
Who brought the Goblin Town list? I'm very interested to know who brought the Goblin Town list.
It's a spicy Goblin Town list.
It's a cool Goblin Town list. So there's a good few lads coming up from Twindon for this. And Goblin Town it's the coolest looking Goblin Town army I've ever seen. When it's all on the table, it was like someone just like upended a bowl of Fruit Loops onto the table. But no, this is the glorious human being that is Henry Brittain, who is bringing a very spicy Goblin Town list.
Tom Atomic Cards Tom has just sowed the seed of Goblin Town into all of his broodlings and sent them forth.
Yeah,
injected them into the GBHL. They're infesting the scene. So after Angmar at 4 appearances, then we have the Misty Mountains at 3 appearances. So 3 Guahirs being allied in stuff, most likely. And then a number of others at 2 appearances, things like Isengard, Loth, Serpent Horde, etc. So
shout out to the person who's taking Karnd.
I was about to say that.
Giga Chad.
805 points at Karnd.
Are we looking at this list later, Elliot? Okay, that's good. That's good we shouted him out then.
Yeah. So I imagine for this that this would be 1 click for every appearance that it makes. So if it's like a Can't Eastlings Alliance, it'd be 1 point for Karnd and 1 point for Easterlings.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Yeah.
Yes, that is what it is. Yeah.
There are a decent number of allies in this as well. Which is
it's a Karnd. Sorry, it's Karnd allied with Corsairs.
Okay. Less Chad, but also
even more interesting.
Yeah. We know what this player is.
He's played a similar list before. And he's optimistic.
Yeah. I'm sad to see a Vanquishers of the Necromancer Legendary Legion.
Yes, I was really I mean, I don't want to play it, but I saw it. I was like,
that's kind of what the event's for. So I don't think this particular player goes to a huge number of events. I may be wrong, but there'll be a load of guys who have families or whatever and just can't get away, and they may have a beautifully painted up set of Vanquishers that they just can't take to events because all the points are too low. Yeah. So I kind of love that it's a real rogue pick, but this guy gets to come to the event and bust out his Vanquishers he's spent painting, and that's cool. I'll watch the game and within 5 minutes work out that I've made a horrible mistake. But we can see.
We've also got in there a pure Easterling list, or it isn't a pure Easterling list, but the fact that it just says Easterlings down there and not Host of the Dragon Emperor is something I haven't seen for a while.
Yeah, I think I got this right. This is actually a funky 3-way alliance.
It is. The yellow alliance. Yeah.
Is it on the list that we're looking at?
No,
it's not. Okay, so this is a delightful chap who is boosting up MESBG in the Northeast, Mr. Jake Robson.
Totally got that wrong. Okay.
I'm pretty sure Jake Robson, not Rawson, just to make this very clear.
Yes.
And he is taking a Witch King Dragon Emperor Lurtz 3-way alliance.
Yeah.
I'm really keen to see how it does. Jake is a delightful human being, but this feels like he actually has found something that he really enjoys playing. So I'd love to see him do well with it.
I would love to play it with how sometimes boring the Dragon Emperor Legion can be. Allying in Isengard and obviously Mordor as well is something which I tried to do before. So it's the kind of thing I would want to play. I just looked at it and parts of it just didn't really make sense, like with the D5 Urukais, with the pikes, it just areas of it just didn't really add up, which is why I chose not to.
Well, you can pike support in the middle of the Easterling phalanx, can't you?
Yeah.
Obviously, I know you don't
back away, but yeah. I don't think that's what. But I don't think that's what he's intending to do. I think he's got a front line of Moranna's Easterlings behind him, and then he's just got like a few Urukai and the synergy. I'm not sure.
It's gonna go 3-0. Elliot's gonna look stupid.
It's a fun list. Like, I would like to use it. It's more fun than Host the Dragon Emperor for sure. Any more comments on any of the factions being seen?
Only one assault on Loth was kind of only one assault on Lothlorien.
Yeah.
No assault on Helm's Deep.
No assault on Helm's Deep, which is really upsetting at my own event.
That is
not one person wanted to take it. I would have.
How many players again?
Army. 40
players. Yeah, so only one AOL.
I was going to ask you, Bert, if I could use your Assault on Helm's Deep just at this event, just to
And
see if I can win with your
just to get free
and you'd have had
points.
it.
Someone needs to carry the torch.
I've got something like 1,500 points of Assault on Helm's Deep just ready to go like whenever that the big event is. So yeah, I'd have been more than happy to lend it out. But no, so it's kind of, in terms of meta picks, you got two Host of the Dragon Emperor and one Assault on Lost. So that's like only three people have taken like the three big scary meta threats, which has led to a really cool varied list. It's nice.
I imagine there's no survivors at Lake Town, so the army at Lake Town will be the Gwaihir list with, how many Lothlorens are there? There's 2 Loths, so maybe one of those is allied in as well.
Are we looking at the?
We are going to be
Lake
looking
Town
at that
list?
list, though.
Okay.
Yeah, so
I imagine it's Patterson,
potentially.
How dare you, sir?
because he was talking to me about taking survivors, and I don't see a survivors, which then means he's taking army. So we shall see.
Yes.
We shall see.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are some other quite cool lists. Like seeing 800 points of Fell Beings of Mirkwood was one I went, yeah,
That is one we're going to be looking at. I found that very interesting. So
yeah, me too. So I think there's a bunch of really cool stuff. The army. Did you have we pulled up the Rivendell? Actually, no. So someone submitted the Rivendell Radagast Alliance list, and I tried to persuade him to submit something else instead, and I was sincerely hoping he was going to submit the list that I wrote for him.
But as the TO being like, nah, submit lists and play this at my event.
Yeah, absolutely. I really wanted him to do Elrond twins, one knight with a banner, four Riv knights, Aragorn and Boromir, and just one up a line with 5 fight 6 heroes, call 5 combats and break an army in a turn, like Rise of Theoden, but better.
There is a list that is basically that. Not far off. Without Boromir.
Yeah.
Is that Elrond twins, Aragorn?
Yeah. And he went for, I think he ended up going for Radagast instead, but I wanted to go. I want him to go for all the fight 6 heroes and just combat through stuff and break it.
Yeah, that would hurt. That would suck.
Yeah.
You get three swingy scenarios, and these lists could totally just instantly.
Yeah,
just
exactly. That's why it's going to be a crapshoot. Like when the dust has settled, and we look at the 5 people who have gone undefeated, I think there's going to be at least one or two lists where you go, wow, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, there's also a Nine Hills Chariot in there as well. A good mate of mine, Tom Murray. Shout out.
Oh, great.
I'm going to be up till 3 a.m. the night before just reading FAQs and the rules.
Love it. So that is going to do it for the faction breakdown. Moving on, we have the leader breakdown that I'm hoping you guys can see. So for the audio listeners, so at the top spot with 6 appearances, we have the Witch King, of course, none other. And then all the way down, the next most seen leader is Theoden with 4 appearances.
I love to see it.
Drops right the way down to 2 appearances after that, where we have the Dragon Emperor, Galadriel, Elrond, and Aragorn Strider. There
are some other it's a fairly reasonable split of leaders. There are some funky ones. The Dark Marshal. Are we looking at that list?
No.
Oh, okay. So this is my personal favorite list that got submitted.
40 lists.
Yeah, we should. Yeah. My personal favorite list that got submitted is the one with the Dark Marshal's the leader, and this absolute
club. Shout out.
absolute Chad has submitted. Is it Dark Marshal, Shadow Lord,
Knight of Umbar?
Knight of Umbar. That's it. All on horses, with I think it's like 12 Morgul Knights and 11 Black Númenóreans.
It's a terror.
And it's literally terrifying. It's got triple caster. And I think there's enough like low courage stuff here that it could just end up just waltzing through it like butter. And I would love to see that happen. So yeah, Dark Marshal doesn't get featured often enough. So he's a cool one to see.
Yeah. Any other sort of notable ones? I mean, yeah, the Dark Marshal is definitely the outlier. I should probably say there's kind of an asterisk here because I'm not 100% sure that in some instances these are the leaders. So, for example, where I've put Groblog, That's in a Moria list with the Watcher. That is
Grobblog is the leader.
Okay, yeah, cool. But that is Jordan from Any Heroic shout. But yeah, I wasn't entirely sure. There are some other instances that are similar to that as well.
Are you sure that the Master of Lake Town is a leader? Because that's got to be proper puzzled.
So no, it was either between. We are going to come onto that list, but it was between either him or another hero of valor. And
so there's no legend in that list.
No.
Wow.
I'm pretty certain it's Glorfindel.
I was like, is it the Master or is it Glorfindel?
The list submissions were kind of insane.
It's definitely Glorfindel.
I thought that like 135% of humanity had access to Excel in 2023 and could use Lonely Knight, and that's just not true.
Yeah.
In any way, shape, or form. My favorite one was like I got a message from someone going, if you don't want Battle Scribe and I can't use Excel, how do you want the format? And I went, okay, just use Word. That'll be fine.
Yeah, Battle
Scribe. Honestly,
12 hours later, I receive a list that is just Battle Scribe. I reject it, and then I get the same thing back, but just with some spaces in it. Yeah. Like, no. This is actually like cancerous.
I do hate it.
Please stop sending me this shit.
To be fair, though, I like never had Excel like on my computer. I've always been like one of those people, but OneDrive is the best way because you just get like the web browser version of Word and Excel and PowerPoint and stuff. It's how I make these PowerPoints and everything. It's really good. Yeah. So any other comments? I don't think there's too much more. There's a Gothmog in there, which is interesting.
I like seeing Thad at 4.
Yeah, 4.
So I think we got. I think it's double riders, double defenders.
Yes, yeah.
I'm guessing the War Chieftain is one of the weird Angmar ones.
It's really cool. And the pilot is an absolute gent. So I can't wait to see how he gets on.
I already feel it's going to be just like 5 Wild Chieftains and like
we shall see.
Spoilers.
On that note, moving on, we have the
God, I'm so good.
The might breakdown. So 800 points. The average we're looking at 11 might. Pretty spot on.
I think it's so with these kind of metrics. I think for a long time we've kind of thought about model count as being like 5% of the points, and I think that's we'll see, but that by and large that tends to be fairly accurate. And then might, we always used to say it was like 1 might per 100 points, and now it's looking a lot more like 1.5 because I think we have so much access to like, cheap 3 might heroes.
I think it's more that the 1 might per 100 points is like the minimum of where you should want to be, but that more often than not the average ends up being around this little mark. Yeah, but like you can get away with it if say 800 you have like 8 or potentially like 7-ish, depending on the army. Obviously, like Angmar, for example.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
so I think that's kind of what we expected. I do like that there are enough rogue lists at like 15, 18, and 22.
Yeah, 2 lists at 18 and 2 at 15 might.
Yeah,
I think 2 of them are the Riders of Theoden. 15, I can't remember the
15 is 5 female heroes. Yeah, so that's the Riders of Theoden. The 18, I think someone's gone Grey Company, haven't they?
That's the 22.
That's the 22.
Yeah.
No one's gone Black Riders. Oh, hang on. The 18 could be the.
No, I think Riders of Theoden is 15. What was 18? Unless I did the stats wrong. Don't think I did.
No one just submitted Thorin's Company. No one's on like Evil Fellowship.
Yeah.
No. So yeah, there's a really cool high might list. And I just want to see. So I almost want to offer like a prize for the first person to declare like 4 heroic combats in the same turn.
What prize?
Just a random spot prize. Just for the first person to do it, it'll just make me happy.
No. Also some on the lower end as well. So a 5 might list at 800 points. How do you even get that? A 3 might and a 2 might hero at 800 points, but then what are you filling out the warbands with? Don't
know. How much is your Angmar list got, Sam?
Might be a Depsamaria, maybe.
2 captains and a shaman. Good shout.
Oh yeah. Okay. There was a Balrog, so yeah.
Sam out with the big brain.
Most of the Angmars have 8 because they have Witch King Gully captain. More often than not. Yeah.
Cool. No one's brought Bjornings, have they? I just realised.
No, which yes, when I was going through the list, I did find that quite surprising.
So I was talking to Sam about this recently, and we think that because there was that, to use your lingo, cursed event in Bristol, the doubles one, where didn't like 6 teams bring bears?
7, I think.
7 teams brought bear. I think Sam ended up playing the mirror 3 times in a 6-game event. And I think since then it's really died. People really don't like playing it.
I think that was exactly the point where it did start sort of going the other way. It was after that event. When we played it.
I feel like it's a lot. I feel like it's a lot better at doubles.
No.
Than
hard
singles.
X without.
Oh dear! Don't open this box.
Hard X.
So this is what it is with it is at like very low points. So at like 450 or 500, you can't break that. Well, at 450 you can't break the list without killing a bear, and at 500 you can't quarter the list without killing a bear. And there just really isn't that much that can deal with one of them, let alone 2. And I think people just got really bored of just essentially, even when they're out of might, just waiting for them to not roll a 6, get 2 wounds.
It is just playing the game on easy mode. You take bears, you play the game on easy mode. It's like, oh, I've got these 2 bears. I kill everything.
It just doesn't have any like. I think people are like, oh yeah, the bears like they're 2 big models and they have Hurl and shit and Barge and that's quite fun. But then if you take that away, you just don't really have.
I think it's actually one of those things that if you look at this kind of thing, so bears, I don't think bears came up for the Irish event that much either. Maybe 1 player, and I think by and large the community is quite self-regulating. So that you can see things like no one taking assault on Helm's Deep, as part of that as well. It's nowhere given how strong everyone knows that list is, and the fact that one of you lot, a Gollum's gamer who lives in London and wears a Guardians t-shirt.
He does not. He wears his Gollum's Gamers t-shirt.
Well, not in Knight's House in Chippenham. There's photographic evidence.
Who's he got?
Because that's his chuckaway shirt,
Yeah. When he logs those 200 points into the league, what team are they going to, Bert? Because they're not going to the Guardians, are they?
Remember which podcast you're on, Bert.
One of the genuinely lovely things about Team Atomic is how the parameters for being on that team are actually like super clear, and it's everyone who if you go to a Thursday evening club night in Swindon, it is like over half the members of Team Atomic are actually there, and we don't have any ringers. It is true and honest, just people.
Yeah, if you go to Ashley's mum's house,
I was literally just about to say
that is a dangerous start to any sentence.
You get over half of the Gollum's gamers having been there.
Yeah.
Me, Sam,
over
James,
half.
Ollie, Jack.
True that.
Yeah,
to be fair though, no one outside of the Pompey boys has been to Ash's mum's house yet. This is pretty.
Yeah, but what did you think the parameters were for joining Gollum's Gamers?
You just have to be good, or you have to be Ollie or Jack, who are already there.
You have to be good, or Ollie and
to be good,
or Ollie and Jack,
or Ollie and Jack,
or
Elliot.
Be really thick.
Or Elliot. You have to be good, or
make the most questionable plays in the league.
Let's go. No, it's honestly like being part of Team Atomic is really cool. And the fact that it is actually people who go to the shop on a regular basis and we see each other all the time is really nice.
Yeah, it's a shame that the Atomic cast sucks balls though.
Where did that come from?
Sorry. My alter ego just kind of took over there.
I like just to check, how many subscribers are you boys at?
I love the Atomic cast.
How many?
Sorry, Bert.
Bert's getting his cock out over a channel. Doesn't even.
He
begs to be on.
I could never get my cock out in front of Curtis. It would just be a horrible, horrible thing to do.
Does Curtis even know who you are?
Does Curtis know? So I don't know how many of you know this, but like when I first joined the scene, I actually kind of was Team London.
You totally were. That's where we met.
I really was. So I met shout out to Sam Palmer, good to you, up in Lincoln, and he's the one who got me involved. Went to Strider Cup, and I went to a load of London events before working out that they didn't really like someone who took a salt and Helm's Deep to every single event they possibly could. And then I realised
you made a lot of friends, didn't you, Bert? With that,
so many friends. And then I worked out that Swindon are mildly more tolerant of horrible gamey bastards.
Yeah, to that kind of.
And so I hang out there instead.
Yeah, it's more your vibe.
It is more my vibe.
So Sam, why did you think? Why do you think Bears are better at singles?
Because the double scenarios, not all of them have the lieutenant feature, and the ones that don't are so much worse than the single counterparts. So
there's also a high percentage of objective scenarios in the doubles. That's why.
Domination
like two out of 6, right?
Domination's already a bad scenario in the singles for Bears, and then you just make it 10 times harder in the double scenarios than it needed to be as well. It's just so awful.
I think people also people have worked out that there are a lot of ways to actually just march your way through Bjornings quite quickly.
Bears are not easy to play. They're not playing on easy mode. The problem is that
I knew he'd nibble on that. I knew he'd nibble. I knew
Ash knows it as well. Ash knows it as well. Everyone does. They're not easy to play. To get the most out of them,
I agree.
They're not easy to play. The problem is,
okay, fine. In scenarios where you are forced to fight in a confined space against two bears, there is undeniably a part of playing against them, which is one. So because of 3 wounds, 3 fate, and bear saves, to win a fight against them, you need to put resources in some way. You have to call a strike in or somewhere. You have to get a load of dudes in the fight. Yeah. And one, you may not win that fight. If you've got like a fight 6 hero, they can flub. That can happen. And then it's the thing of, because they're defense A's, one, you're trying to roll a load of 6s, and then with 3 wounds, 3 fate, and all the bear saves, you can pour resources in. And they go, oh no, you took 2 fate points off.
This is the problem. You're doing it all wrong. You just leave them alone.
But that's the point. But at low points, the game won't end until you do something about them. That's the problem.
The game's only an hour and a half long. You play domination, you shoot all the Bjornings, and then you charge one dude in for the whole game. And the game, they're not going to kill enough before the game ends. Or 2 bears. You play at high points, you charge one in, you kill the rest of the Bjornings, you break them, you just meet the ending conditions, you win the game.
It's a lot harder to just not. It's way harder than you think to just avoid 2 might 8-inch bears.
A lot of it though comes down to heroic move roll-offs, because if you win, then you're tagging it off and then you're screening it off in the most efficient way.
Not a lot of bear players call heroic move offs, because you only have 6 might, and that might is better spelled else.
Exactly. So if you're able to win move offs, or have control of the move phase, you're then tagging with 1 and then screening off in the most efficient way you can, and then you're chomping Bjornings.
To get the most out of them, they are not easy to play to win all majority of games and scenarios.
I think, okay, fine. Put it this way. I agree with you that to do well in a 6-game event, and to give you credit, you did that in a tough field in Swindon, so full credit. However, if you're playing against them and you come up against them in 1 game in an event, there are certain scenarios where you just go, well,
100%.
But that's every army in the whole entire game.
No, it's not, because
that is literally a sort of Helm's Deep on Recon. That is a contest of chat, or Lords of Battle and Vanquishers. That is contest of champions and Black Riders. Or Recon in Goblin Town. There's so many armies that you can just instantly lose to.
I think he's saying is that maybe there's a higher percentage of those.
There's really not. There's
it's not a much higher percentage, but there's a couple more cases compared to things are black.
I've missed talking about bears.
No, if you
you're not going to win this argument, but
no, you meant this on the Atomic Cast. Like, when we're doing our like monthly reviews, we'll go bears, and then just move on to the next slide immediately because we have just no interest in talking about.
I can barely think of few. There's few scenarios that you can actually they are instantly insta losses if you play against bears.
I don't think he's arguing that they're insta losses, but just that you turn up the table when you see the bears, and you're like,
it's more that the exercise of playing against them in some way is
miserable.
Essentially, fine. Put it this way: do you agree that you can win a game and win the scenario while having a miserable time against them?
Oh, because 1,000%. Yeah.
And I think that is the main reason why people don't. Even Dragon Emperors, the community hasn't like self-regulated against that. But I think it says quite a lot that bears are now played less frequently than Assault on Helm's Deep.
I think it's because
that's not true.
That doesn't. Yeah,
the problem is the fact that bears are objectively worse than Assault on Helm's Deep. They are not as good as you think. That's the problem.
Yeah. Bears are really, really, really good in some scenarios, and it is an auto loss. Like you can't deny that, Sam. And then
like what? Please, generally,
it's contest is not an auto loss.
Elliot beat bears in contest with Dragon Emperor.
That was a bit different though. That was with Retabi.
No, but it's not because you get Mike points back from killing the Bjornings. You get Mike points back
well played, Elliot.
It's really not an auto loss if you have the 1-5-6 hero that can just
completely
free a game.
Yeah,
it's really not.
It just disagreed with you.
No, but I get his point. That let's say you're playing any other army and you have a 5-6 hero similar to Retabi, like a striker.
There's so many 5-6 heroes in the game. You have one of them.
You could do that.
You can just do a free combat a turn.
Retabi though, having the re-rolling wounds on trap models, that was
but if you need 4 dice, you can spend another point of might, and you're spending 1 point of might a turn, or you charge another one, then kill that one, you get a point of might back again. Like there is a lot of armies or a lot of models that can do that, and you might need the bears to whiff in maybe 2 combats or 3 combats out of the game, which is a little bit of luck. But to say that's an auto loss in contest is not correct.
Not an auto loss. I think
it's favourable, but Goblin Town's favourable in nearly every scenario apart from Lords of Battle. And
as the adult of this podcast, can I just point out that this is now 10-15 minutes on an army that isn't actually attending my event.
In the event,
sorry,
you'd love to see it. You'd love to see this.
That's completely my fault. We got distracted.
That is Vince.
Yeah, let's move on.
So yes, some armies have might. Fantastic.
But out here controlling the pod, I love it.
Bears are mid.
Moving on, we have the model count statistics. So for the audio listeners, the average model count for the event is 38 models. So there's lots of lists kind of between the 35 to 50 mark. A lot of lists in that sort of range, and then at the higher end we have sort of a few lists at 51, 54, 57, and then the highest model count for the event is 65, which I assume is the Goblin Town. But then
I think there's definitely, not to say like Swindon influence, but we all know Tom loves the Horde. I think some people are vaguely aware of this.
I think it's a standard model count, to be honest.
It's pretty standard.
You're going to get people that take the bare necessities at 40 models with tricks. You're going to get people that take a high model count of 50 plus. You're going to get the absolutely spam that's 60, 70.
Only because I think that peak at 48. How are we taking a look at Mr. Garside's list?
No.
Okay, so this is one of the Hordier lists.
But I was.
He's bringing a 48 model Defenders of Helm's Deep list.
Yeah.
Which
I just thought there wasn't really much to say.
There isn't that much to say, but it's one of those lists where like Dan's used this list a lot.
Looks like a good list, though. Yeah.
And like 48 models of like a huge amount of like fight five line, like loads of D6 troops.
Yeah.
Right weapons galore. I think that's brutal as hell.
Oh, it is.
That's
a good list.
What hero is he taking?
So
Gambling,
Theoden, Gambling, Haleth, Legolas.
Yeah,
it's something that I've toyed with in the past, and eventually I couldn't face it, and I want to take Gimli instead because I wanted to hit stuff.
And I think I saw he's got quite a lot of Royal Guard in there as well, though.
So, yeah, I think, but I think we vaguely chatted about it, and because he asked me how I do it, I was like really go Royal Guard heavy. it's just like the difference that the D6 makes is absolutely ridiculous.
I did really find that at Dewey's event, the times I came up against Strength 3 armies, big difference.
Massive
difference. Yeah, it's worth doing. So yeah, those are the statistics for the model count for the event. Now, I believe, oh no, we've got one more slide, which is the bow count for the event. 800 points, 8 bows. It looks like it's 1 bow per 100 points, apparently. Still nine lists.
I don't really understand the point of taking like 4 bows. I really don't get it.
Well, like when I would take the Emperor, for example, I would take some bows. Like
honestly, bows.
Fine. No, okay, fine. Honestly, bows are like 2, 3, 4. I get it's around the sort of 7 or 8 mark. I'm going. Are you committing or not?
Thing is, though, you might play Lords, and with those 8 bows, you might outshoot an army.
Yeah, because they might take none, and then you kill 4 troops on the way.
You're like, oh, I'm just going to sit here and win 3-0 because I've got a kill with my bow, but you haven't.
Yeah, it's worth doing. But 9 people have apparently gone.
All evil shooting as well. It's like you just play for luck. Oh, okay, they've charged Boromir into 2 of my guys. I've got a bow. I'll just stand still, shoot through 2 combats, see what happens. And the amount of times that actually happens is staggering.
So there's 2 people.
Yeah, if you think about it.
Sorry, Vince, go on.
No, I was going to say, if you think about it, bow is like a really, really good points investment. Like you're only spending a point, like usually per model.
And you've still got the model to do everything else.
Yeah, and it's just so worth it.
It's more that I'm intrigued that the average model count is 40, so people on average have access to 12, 13 bows, and are only taking 8.
Yeah.
But it's also like the ones like the Dragon Emperor, for example, and stuff where you only want to take a few honesty ones. But there's lots of lists that fall into that category. So then, that brings the average down, right? When there's lists only taking a few in sort of, the 3, 4.
Yeah, it's difficult to interpret like average bow count. I don't think it really means much. Like,
nine lists with no bows is definitely kind of funky. Like a quarter of the field has no bows.
Yeah, but like two lists with 16 and 1 list with 18. And so there's some heavy shit.
I mean, that's what's bringing down the average bow count, which means it doesn't really mean much.
Yeah.
Okay. So that is going to do it for the statistics for the event. And we're going to move on to the list. So the first list we have, as predicted by Sam himself,
Wagmar.
We have a Wild Warg Angmar army.
So this is a Sean Rosato inspired Wagmar, except I think Sean Rosato often includes shout out Last Lines of Nibs and Men.
Thank you.
Often includes the Witch King, and this lovely chap who. So I met this chap and had one of my favourite ever games of SBG up in Birmingham with this chap. And talked about the event. He seemed really keen, and then when the spot came up, he jumped to the chance. And he was playing a fairly funky like vanilla Rohan, and I was expecting like big points, big Rise of Théoden. And then out of nowhere, he just dropped.
Just submitted this. Well, for the audio listeners, he is running. I'm on the 6 warbands, all led by Wild Warg chieftains, and 4 of them have 8 Wild Wargs, and 2 of them have 7. So it is 52 models.
This is a wild list.
They all move 10 inches. With 10
if you draw recon, somebody is going to be absolutely
furious.
Sad panda.
Really sad panda.
Yeah. But I just think, this is a really funny list, and I would love to see all those bases on the table. Like, it's literally going to take up like the whole board edge.
Similar to like a Wars of Isengard, when like it's just all on the board, you think, holy shit, there are so many models there. But then like when you actually get to killing them, they
will melt.
But 6 Wild Warg chieftains is quite funny.
It's pretty.
They do have strike, don't they?
No.
Oh, they do have strike.
They're all fight 5, strength 5, like 2 might.
Yeah.
Do they even have march?
They do. I think they have march and strength.
They have marching strength. They strength 6, fight 5, 3 attacks.
Yeah. The Wild Warg chieftains are great. I think the Wild Wargs are fucking good.
I mean, what I really want to happen is just again for the spot price for heroic combat, I want this to come up against like the Corsair list. Just jump in from 10 inches away, hit this like D3, D4 line and just combat with every single chieftain and just eat pirates.
I'm sorry, I said 10 might, yeah. So 12 might, like if you win move offs and then you're charging with all of the chieftains and combating into areas that you've already set up, you know, to move them into, like you could have a big turn and you just kill a shit ton.
I mean, if we end up drawing like recon and hold ground, even like destroy the supplies. Like
that's why I thought I'd include this list. It's just
like retrieval against this is bananas because they can.
Can you play recon, retrieval, and destroy the supplies?
You could, yeah. So like he can send 26 models with like 8 points of might at your object. That's pretty gnarly because the actual like area of model that you need to kill to get close to theirs. Like those are really good scenarios for this.
Just 6 Wild War chieftains. If you play a fight 4,
6 of them.
If you play a fight 4 army, oh my god, that's awful.
Yeah, it's really really bad. The list I actually really want this to come up against is Assault on Loth. Because this will, I mean,
present the wargs to the higher fight.
the wargs are higher fight, so they're actually like winning.
And close the gap quickly.
Yeah, they close the gap. Well, yeah, so you're spending literally 1 turn in that bow range. You have 1 turn in bow range, and then you're just charging the next. So they're not really throwing weapons off.
Yeah, and this will come down a lot to the boards it plays on as well, though. Because if it can,
Tom's boards. Tom. Like Tom, I own no terrain, so Tom is providing 100% of the terrain for this event.
Scavenger.
Oh yeah, completely. I wholeheartedly embrace this.
But half of the models I use at every event I go to aren't mine, including your event. So.
Yeah, shout out Elliot for using my models.
Yeah. I'm having multiple people ferry models to your event, including you.
Yeah. No, I if right scenarios come up, this could do really well. And like Ben's a solid player. He has a really good handle on the game and positioning. So I think he could do some things.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I can't wait to see it on the table. It'll be a good laugh. Next up, we do have a Lake Town soup list, which we mentioned earlier. For the audio listeners, I'll run through it briefly. So we have Glorfindel leading 6 higher warriors with spear shield, 1 with bow and spear, 1 with banner and spear, and 3 with knights with shield. Also Kier down there as a solo drop. And then we have the Army of Lake Town engine vibes going on. We have the Master, Braga, a Lake Town captain, and Alfred, all leading various Lake Town guard with bow, spear, and no war gear. Alfred as a solo drop. So it comes to 54 models in total.
Is anyone else surprised at the elves?
This is the right idea. Very much the right idea when it comes to a Lake Town with allies. I just don't understand why Alfred and Círdan are alone.
I saw Alfred on his own and I thought, well, usually Alfred, because he's fortitude, that's kind of the good thing about him, is that you can make him.
The big thing the big thing with the elf support is obviously when you can set up, you're fine. So essentially, it's only really a worry for maelstrom scenarios, and for those scenarios, I'm pretty certain. This is Tom's list. I think Tom's plan would be to send Círdan on first, and then bubble up around him. The list actually functions like Alfred's obviously incredibly cost efficient and he's a good part of the list, but with the elf support and to have an actual banner in there as well, you don't need to pop the master's bubble that often. So the extra might is nice, but it's not actually completely necessary.
Why do you not want to be popping the master's bubble that often?
Yeah, no, I disagree with that. You need to be popping that shit pretty often.
I hadn't even noted when I put this together because I put all of this into Lonely Night Builder to then get this as screenshot on here. So I looked at the list and I didn't even obviously scope that there's another banner in here. So he's paid for another banner.
I can totally see paying for a banner. Yeah,
100%.
It's VPs as well, though. Yeah.
You've got a three game event. If you play to the death, heirlooms, and you can't win those 12 nils, you don't win the event. So you need a banner.
VPs,
I don't know why you don't have another load of Lake Town boys and get rid of. You don't like the Fight 5. You've only got 8 of it. I mean, if you come up against Dragon Emperor, you're going to get out for anyway. So
are you?
I don't know why. Is there a reason? I'm thinking of why you take the captain.
So this was one of the options. The captain and a load of dudes could have been Dwalin or could have been a hitter. The captain, Tom found that the captain actually makes a massive difference in terms of having in a game of breakthrough. You can have the if the fight's on one side of the board, you can have a captain sat there with 2 might points and a will point with like 6 dudes around him holding an objective, and it's actually weirdly hard to get through a bunch of lads if there's a captain around there as well.
Is the captain the only March though?
No,
Braga.
Braga's got it. So I don't know why. I get the point, but
it's a might in a different place that can enable a combat strike move with Glorfindel if you need to.
Is there an argument to make to put the models in the captain's warband into Alfred's warband?
Yeah, 1,000%.
Get rid of the captain, and then you have another however many points to either put in more elves or upgrade Glorfindel. I don't know. You have more points to do something with.
I think the list is totally fine. If you want to run it like this, you can totally run it like this as it is. But the warband reshuffling, in my opinion, needs to happen. Those if you're going to have a single drop within that Lake Town portion of the list, your Lake Town Guard captain is going to be your 1 drop.
Yeah.
Not Alfred. Those 11 should swap into Alfred's warband, and then at least 3 or probably even more than 3 of the dudes in probably all 6 people go into Kira's warband.
You should have Glorfindel with the 3 knights, and then you should just have 6 elves, and then add another couple of, and then just get more bodies with Lake Town. That would make more sense. Because you've got a Cav warband that can go anywhere.
This is having 2, one with no might and one with 1 might. Yeah, you might not play Recon or Maelstrom, but you then have to roll Alfred first on no might. You then have to roll Círdan afterwards. Hopefully he gets a decent number that he can at least join semi-near Alfred, and then spend the rest of your army to come on, which is not the biggest problem, but having 2 models with no might, which you have to facilitate first. If you roll bad on Alfred and Círdan, you're then instantly at a disadvantage off the bat. And
I think that's one thing that the Lake Town Guard captain can do as well. It just adds some additional might for calling moves in different places. And
it's mainly the banner.
Yeah.
Because you have 54 models and you only have 1 3-inch banner that you're basically going to be.
I will say anything short of Dragon Emperor will find it very, very tough to get through this battle line. Just because of the sheer numbers of it.
Yeah, we're kind of sleeping on Círdan a bit. I mean,
and
terrors.
The army itself's fine. It's perfectly good. It's really good.
Also, I don't know how often you see the 3 Rivendell Knights chucked in.
I was going to say, like, he spent a lot of points to do that. That is not cheap, and yeah, in certain scenarios, they are going to pay for themselves.
I think the Cav is a fantastic choice. Like, you don't. People really sleep on cavalry, and they're just so important to everything. Objective scenarios, killing scenarios,
and especially when this kind of thing where you can park. If it's say playing breakthrough, you can park them on like a side objective with the spare Lake Town Guard captain, or even just 1 knight on a spare Lake Town Guard captain, and in a turn win priority, if they haven't got might guard on their back objective, you can have that knight charge in, or if they've got no one there, final turn, you can call a march with a Lake Town captain, and suddenly your Riv Knight is there instantly. And I think having all that might in different places with 3 cav it adds a load of killing power, but also just that option to nab last minute objectives is really, really cool.
Yeah, the list
Cool.
itself is really good. It's just the
I
warband.
completely agree. I completely agree with the Knights. Yeah.
What was that about the
Good.
Knights? We agree with
No,
the Knights.
I agree with it. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
definitely.
And like sometimes people might, okay, you're allying in Rivendell, you take Glorfindel, you take like the minimum amount that you can get away with, but then you spend points elsewhere. So you take like 2, but he's really gone, taking 3, that's like what, 65-ish points or something?
A thought I had is you maybe could have thought about putting the banner on one of the Riv Knights so that it can follow Glorfindel around and give him another dice.
Oh, I don't like
because you've
that.
already got the banner with the
Oh,
master,
the master, yeah,
in
course,
the battle
of course.
line. You've still got your banner. Glorfindel then becomes a 6 dice dual model on the charge with Lord of the West.
I guess, is
and
it
the
there
banner.
for, because if you've got, what, 7, 8...
Also makes it harder to kill because it can move away from black darts better.
Yeah. If you've got like 8 elves with spear, you kind of want the banner on them potentially as well.
Why does it matter? You're the higher fight if you've got a spear. So the master's banner still affects the elves.
Oh, of course, yeah.
So, what I said, it's because I mean, again, matchups could be silly. Against one of the Dragon Emperor lists, this could get a bit annoying, but against a load of like the Fight 4 ones, a lot of things going to hit this and just kind of melt.
Comes up against Black Nums, and
it is a really strong list.
The elves, the number of elves in the front allow you to charge, which is good. But
Kid has all of command means you can just charge the late town.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, of course. Kidan is very, very good.
It's a meta read right there.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah. Good point, Bert.
Till he gets sap wheeled. Oh no.
Yeah, that's true. But his resistance to magic can just go very well, I
think you would just sap well and pray. So yeah, it's a very good list. Moving on though, we have a Rivendell and Khazad-dûm.
It's this guy's,
which I thought was quite interesting, and it's that man.
It's that man.
So for the audio listeners, it is a list with Elrond with 12 elves with spear shield, 4 just with bow, and then 2 with bow and spear, and then we have Durin with a dwarf warrior with banner, 9 Hearthguard, 3 Iron Guard, a dwarf ranger with longbow and throwing axe, and then 2 Vault Warden teams for 38 models. So he's taken 2 heroes of legend, maxed out the warbands. 38 for what is ultimately a D7 frontline, fight 5. It's pretty good.
Oh,
this is great. This brings a power themed.
This is deliberately brings a power themed. I think he is going for best chemistry.
Yeah, this is awesome.
And I think for seeing this is definitely up there for it. I think. I kind of agree with him. Like, as far as here we go. Here's on a Pandora's box. As far as Rings of Power went, I thought that the interaction between these two was actually one of the best parts of the show. I really enjoyed their scenes. I thought it was well cast, and the script was tight. And Curtis is leading into the scene. Again, scenario dependent. Like, it's not going to enjoy Divide and Conquer. It's not going to enjoy Recon.
It's only 6 might, which is definitely going to suck.
It's not going to enjoy a lot of scenarios, to be honest with you, but it is very cool.
It's really cool. It's definitely themey, and I hope that we get to play. I don't know, contest. I mean, if you play contest, we can't know well. Contest or to the death, one of the two.
It's really not a bad list though. Like, yeah, there are going to be some lists in like the 48 range and 50 and stuff, which is going to, not do that well.
It doesn't give a toss about terror.
But like, there are some Minas Tirith lists, for example, that are like 40 models, and like this will give it a pretty good run.
That'd be not bad.
I like that Hearthguard will just look at a black Numenorian front line and just go, I don't care. And
yeah, Elrond and Durin are both really good.
Yeah,
this would destroy Black Nums. Yeah, absolutely destroy them.
Even if you have like 50 models potentially, like.
Yeah.
The might is definitely the biggest weakness, I'd say.
The might and the move.
Yeah.
And the maneuverability.
Yeah, I would have liked it to be included, at least a couple of nights, like we've been saying.
Yeah, I did. I saw that and I was like, he's just gone pure model spam, which 38 is a pretty good place to be at for this sort of army. So,
Not bad. I like it. Good
Yeah.
theme. Yeah.
I think even like some objective scenarios, like do you want to play against this for capture and control?
Depending on what you're playing, but like,
I mean, if you're
Yeah.
I mean, if
it's a pretty legit line.
I mean, if you're starting in the middle, which a lot of time you just do, I mean, if you give up the center to this list, you are never getting it back, ever.
Yeah, he's got the Vault Warden teams just to stand on objectives, and you just never get past that. Yeah.
Literally any part of this list standing on an
any
objective.
part.
I think like the fact that you can leave Elrond in reserve. Like, what does Elrond isn't even the killing power in the list. He doesn't need to do anything, and the fact that you could just leave Elrond until fairly late game, maybe tag off a side objective with like 2 Hearthguards and a spear support. Like, what's getting through that? Getting through that?
You've only got the 6 might, but you've got the foresight points and also the reroll, right, for the ring.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
you can almost always dictate. So in terms of like traps and things, you can almost always dictate the order that these fights happen, and that could be huge.
Yeah, with a list like this. So I just saw it. Yeah, I found it quite interesting. It'd be something fun.
I like it.
I probably want to play in the future. I didn't want to play Khazad-dûm at some point. So yeah, that's going to do it. Moving on though, we have a 57 model Fell Beings of Mirkwood list, which I saw this and I thought, wow. So I'll run through it for the audio listeners. So we have, obviously, the leader is Razgoosh. He's leading 7 Orc Warriors with shield, 5 is spear, no shield, 1 Orc with banner spear, 1 bat, and a Mirkwood Spider. Then we have the Spider Queen with 4 Warg Riders, no shield or throwing spear, 1 bat, a Mirkwood Spider, 2 Giant Spiders, and 6 Fell Wargs. And then we have 2 identical warbands led by a Orc Captain on Warg, no shield, 5 Orcs with shield, 5 with spear, and 2 Orc Trackers. So 2 identical warbands there for 57 models in total at 805 points. 10 might. So he's really gone, he's absolutely cheaped out everywhere he can. So he's quite low defense, but he's got 57 models.
It's a meta read, isn't it?
So given that like the bow counts aren't super heavy in this event, this list can do things.
It's got March.
It's got buckets of March. And it also I like lists that mean that the leader can spaff all of their might on just winning fights and combating. If they just were winning fights, striking up, that kind of thing.
There's also 5 Rivendales as well. So
yeah, the hatred elf against all that Rivendell. Good time.
And he's also got
Lothlorien.
He's got quite a lot of like tech in there as well, though. Like 57 models, but he's got 2 bats, 2 giant spiders, and 2 Mirkwood spiders. Like
playing objective games against this is awful.
Yeah, and the 6
like really bad. Playing recall
really
against this is awful.
Doesn't have a drum.
I was going to say that.
Oh, you can take a drum in this, can you?
If this is pretty good, I do like it. I like seeing Fell Beings, but there is definitely a few things I would personally change to make it better.
6 Fell Wargs.
6 Fell Wargs, no drum.
I think you take like 4 Fell Wargs, maybe 3.
I'd probably take
Fell Wargs, but you probably don't need 6. Yeah.
I'd probably take 3. I'd convert a captain to a shaman on Warg. I would put shields on all the spearmen.
Yeah, I looked at that. I looked at like if you start putting shields on things, but then you're maybe dropping down to like
I think a lot of the shooting that we have in this tournament is strength 3, and a lot of the troops are strength 3. So that gap from strength 4 for D4 to D5 doesn't achieve much.
Yeah, he's just tried to go as spam as he can get it, and he's literally gone, if I strip everything off that I physically can, I can get up to 57. If he puts things back on, he's going to be like 52-ish, and then he's not really, cashing in on
I think that ability, like, so if you have the ability to, and you have enough disposable might on the captains and things, to just keep calling moves and just swamp your opponent with models. Orcs are good at just dying slowly.
If you come up against terror,
not if you don't have shields though. If that front line starts to die at fight 3,
then you don't have
get charged next turn. your spearmen are dead.
Does that number of bodies give space for the Spider Queen to do so much work?
I think the problem is 57 model, like high model count's great in certain armies. However, you need to be able to get your 57 model count in altogether to capitalize on that. And usually
I agree that a drum may have been a good call. But I guess
it's a shaman as well, because if you play Terror, like maybe you didn't have one on Warg, but like you put any two captains on Warg, you take a shaman.
It's still got what 17 orcs and D5, so you aren't as worried about strength 2 shooting, and strength 3 shooting it wouldn't have changed that much anyway. I don't think like the shields and the spearmen would have achieved that much. I've played this list twice, and I've just played lists as just a direct counter. Like ironically they're coming to the event together, but this is Nat's list. If he plays against Dan Garside's 48th model Defenders of Helm's Deep, it's just dead.
Yeah.
It's complete toast.
But he's hoping
a drum would have been so handy.
Yeah, drum would help that beyond belief.
March and drum. Oh, you've got your orcs going 12 inches. So, oh my god.
I guess he's hoping he plays against something. So that average model count was 38. So he's hoping he plays something like lowish 40s, and maybe they don't have much shooting, so he gets there basically with 57-ish models.
I think it's like with this many models, you can get onto most enemy heroes. And then once you kind of got them locked up, then you can start pressure, and they start using mites to win fights or whatever, or calling heroic moves. The ability for the Spider Queen to have all her might for calling combats and things and just ripping through whatever she wants to. I think this could do damage, but it's a long way away from the kind of list that I play. So I would be very nervous about having this much D4, D5.
Yeah, I just saw, like I hadn't really seen at 800 like such a high spam where they've clearly gone, I need to strip off absolutely everything I can to try and squeeze out.
Having said that, even if you think about like doing the hard engage and all the rest of it, there are a lot of scenarios where you just go, oh shit, like do you want to play Destroy the Supplies against this?
No,
I don't want anywhere.
It's got 2 bats as well, like it's got a lot of 10-inch movement.
Divide and conquer with a march and again, I admit the drum would have been good, but getting the march in the middle there early, it's grim. It's like there's a lot of great scenarios for this list.
And against strength, 3 and 4, like the D4 might not be that much of a difference. I think it's really the shooting where it could be against like strength 2 shooting.
I talk about Fell Beings quite a bit with my my good friend Jason Mountain. He's top guy. He reckons that Fell Beings caps out at kind of 550, 600. Don't know what you think about that.
It's definitely better at lower points.
At 550, it's that you get like Raskus is just a really good beat stick at that level, and also Spider Queen. And if you can get those two with like full warbands and some like a couple of bats and like a spider or two.
So is that what you get at 550? I'm actually interested.
No, you get
so I played against Imogen's list at 550, and I think she got a captain Razgush and the Spider Queen. And again, like I think the list could have done in her hands as well. That list could have done really well. It just happened to hit me, and we played Lords of Battle, and I just shot it to shit.
Oh, was this a Nobody Tosses the Door?
Yeah. Just Bert Sun running his way to 4-0.
As I now have a Razgush painted, I may try it out at low points. Interesting.
Yeah,
it's kind of weird because it's got all the bonuses against elves, obviously, but I'm not really sure if it's actually good against elves at the same time. So it's quite a weird bonus, isn't it?
It's in a very weird spot. It's like, I don't know, Arnor, for example, have the Angmar thing. It's like it's very specific against one matchup.
It's better at I think the reason it's better at low points is
because you can't do the Spider Queen at low points.
Exactly. It's the fact that the Spider Queen and Razgush are. It's very hard to deal with both. at low points, and in fact, you've got a captain there, and you've got a captain there to call a couple of moves and call march and stuff. It just puts you in a really good position to use the other two really well. The problem with the list is, outside of those two, it doesn't really do much.
Yes,
like, the orcs don't. They're not like like the assault on Loth troops are really choppy, load of throwing weapons. Like they could do stuff.
Orcs are a bit shit, aren't they?
Orcs are orcs. They don't do enough.
Yeah.
They're there, and you get lots of them, but they don't do much.
The thing with this is the Spider Queen. This list is better at low points. Like, yeah, you get the Spider Queen, who's harder to deal with at low points, but it's also the fact it's mainly because you get to lead troops, giving you a averaged or good model count with a Spider Queen. But when you take it at high points, you can get the same model count with, or a good model count with just a Spider Queen ally, instead of taking fell beings, where you get better troops, you get better tricks on top of the Spider Queen. So it becomes.
I think that's it. Raskus is situationally good, and it's more like a built-in defensive tool. So like he's good. So he's good at killing elf troops unless they're backed up by Galadrim Court, where he's kind of. Well, yeah, it's an even fight.
Still decent,
but that's not a. I wouldn't call that a buff as such. It's more of a so that he personally doesn't run in and just get skewered by elves.
Yeah.
Do I think this? If you swapped all the models in the Spider Queen's warband, you sacked off a captain, and you then add just a Shadow Lord. So you take Dark Denizens and Mordor ally, and then you fill the Mordor warbands with like Black Nuns.
That's the kind of thing I'm planning to do with Razgush.
You then get all the benefits from Razgush, which the Legion gets, and
not woodland creature though.
Not woodland creature.
Not woodland creature.
You also get protecting from shooting. You get your march. You get magic, and you get the Spider Queen, and you probably still have 40 or something models.
And you get D6, and you get strength,
and you get D6,
and you get 5/4, and you get terror.
That's why it's better at.
Imagine drumming through a forest, though. How scary is that?
But it's one of those lists that didn't like World Champion won Into the West with it.
Yeah,
at 450.
Yeah, that's amazing. I think so. It can do things, but I think one of those legions where when you read through Defense of the North and you read the Legion, you go, those are some cool rules. I don't know what this Legion does.
Yeah, it's a bit.
It's very like individual model specific, and
just to touch on one point that Sam was saying about that, like it maybe where it caps out, and like what other things do you add in? I think it's sort of like pits in some sense, where let's say at like 550, 600 you get Azog and you get like a hunter or captain and max warbands or something. Once you go up to like 800 points, you're not really adding in.
You're adding captains.
Same. Yeah. It's just more of the same. So like, with this, you maybe add in like a couple more spiders. Yeah, you could put in like a drum, but say in pits, you could put in like a horn. Like, it doesn't maybe change much about the overall makeup.
Put it this way: how does this deal with 2 transfix casters?
It doesn't.
Yeah. The heroes go, oh no, and then the troops go, well, we tried.
Yeah, you play against terror, this list gets absolutely. Yeah. And then Razgush is 410 points. I think he's very mediocre personally.
He's just kind of way worse than Shagrat, isn't he?
He just doesn't kill.
I think at like 1,000 points, there's some cool stuff that you can do with it.
1,000 points, unnumbered tiers. Sorry, Karen.
I think 1,000 points is some cool stuff that you can do, because I think there will be a bunch of elves at that points level.
Oh yeah,
and I think that's where he's quite cool. 800 is just yeah.
His main bonus is that he allows you to ally in bat swarms. That's his whole thing.
But that's what I mean. Like, so at 1,000 points, you can ally those. You can get that cool stuff in.
Fell wargs. I fucking love me a fell warg with fell sight.
Woof.
Sleeping.
Woof.
Stop sleeping.
Woof.
8
No,
points.
no, I agree.
They
I
are
like Felwargs.
so good.
Felwargs are
They're
good.
so good.
So I think with
They are
this
good.
one, I think it's got a solid pilot who's gone 2-1 like a lot this year. So I think maybe it could just be a case of getting that nice run of scenarios, and this could do really well.
Yeah.
Next
That's
list.
why I included it in here, because it has sparked a lot of conversation.
What we're
And
laughing
lots
at,
of
boys?
laughs, apparently.
Oh,
It was a good one.
Take.
It was a good
I
one.
said, woof.
All right.
Love it. Right,
It's a
let's
good
move on. That list clearly did its job. I like it. We have a Minas Tirith list. So for the viewers' benefit,
Ooh.
for the audio listeners, it is a pure Minas Tirith list led by Aragorn King Elisar with 6 Warriors of Minas Tirith with shield, 6 with spear shield, and 3 knights with shield. And then we have Hurin with 3 knights with shield, Ingold with 6 with shield and 6 with spear shield, and then Iralas with 3 rangers with spear and 3 Isel Guard that have swapped the spear for a longbow. So 40 models on the nose, 12 might. Obviously, it's got King Elisar with the 3 might per turn. Hurin and then Ingold and Iralas are both obviously really solid picks, and 6 knights as well.
No guard of the Fountain Court.
No. So I guess it's just points restrictions.
So what I like about this is I think this list is coming from Guildford Way.
It's not, no, but I know the guy who plays this list, and he is a very good player. So he won the LGP a few years ago.
This is Dan Ray, right?
Yeah.
Basingstoke. Oh, that's Guildford Way.
It's
east of the A34. That's basically Guildford. So this was actually a message that he got message like 11:15 on Saturday night. He goes, "Oh, yeah, I should write a list."
Yeah,
and like 11:45, I went, "Have a list, please." And he went, "Oh, okay, fine." And then I got this, and I went, "Oh, okay, that's actually kind of cool."
I just thought 40 models, like, it's right where you need to be, and for a 3-game event, if he gets, particular matchups, obviously we say this about lots of lists, right, over 3 games, but Hurin and Aragorn can really fuck shit up.
Hurin getting 2 rerolls. Woo!
I mean, Aragorn just gets bukaki'd by magic, though.
Oh, Jesus.
Absolutely destroyed.
I mean, he does though, doesn't he?
Absolutely steamroll.
Aragorn getting bukaki'd.
We'll see if that's the case. But
I will never look at a Mordor Troll Chieftain in the same way again.
Yeah.
Are those allowed at your event, Bert?
Sorry?
Are those allowed at your event?
Well, Bukaki.
That is, yeah.
They're one of the prizes.
Oh,
from the Gollum gamers.
That's close to me just logging off. This is cool right there.
Oh dear.
Right, this list. How much magic actually is there? Because I don't think there's actually
5 Witch Kings,
6
4 Angmars.
Okay,
Sorry,
no.
6 Witch Kings.
Okay, wait. So 6 out of 40.
I'm not sure outside.
No, there's
the
6 Witch Kings, Rise of the Necromancer, Vanquish of the Necromancer,
Assault on Loth.
Assault on Loth. There's at least 9. Alt 10.
I think there's 2 lots.
2 Loth, so 11.
Yeah, there's a lot.
It's at least a quarter of the event.
Sorry to shit on your parade, but
also, if this comes up against shooting, Aragorn just doesn't have a horse. Hurin just doesn't have a horse.
But that's what I said. With certain matchups,
doesn't you think it's so again? But like that's a numbers game. So if you think half, so let's say it's strength 2 shooting hitting on 4s. That is half the shots hit. 1 in 6. Well, half of them actually hit the horse. So they're down to 1 in 4. 1 in 6 cause a wound. So that's 1 in 24 shots take down the horse, and he has Horse Lord, and he'll obviously spend the fate on it. I don't think that horse is going anywhere.
Yeah, but when your name's Bert, you take 6 shots, hit 6, 6 go through, 6 go down, and then he has no horse. And it's like, if basically Aragorn whiffs a combat and loses his horse, that's all the killing power gone.
But
I mean, you've also got Hurin.
But But if you had to go down to like 35 models to fit in Aragorn, Huron, and the two others, then yeah, it sort of sticks. But like the model count isn't that low. Where if also scenarios, as well, you could get ones where you start quite close. Contest against the right matchup, you're sort of laughing.
I like Iralas too, because he gives you. You're banking on the fact that you're not going to play Maelstrom in opposed to taking Madril, because Madril would be better in that instance. You're taking an approach that Iralas is better in combat as a fight 5 hero, just to kill stuff, and you've still got March, which you don't even need to use because you've got Aragorn.
I think having Aragorn, and I think can we just say that if Aragorn isn't up against Magic,
that's what I'm saying.
So for those matchups, I don't really know what you do to him. And also, that's a bunch of heroes that can just start eating through a battle line.
Yeah, they will just put stuff, and the Minas Tirith will sit there and die slow, and you have 6 knights.
I think you just lose a lot of fights being. How many fight 4 is there?
Yeah. There's not. Yeah,
there are
6.
Yeah,
6
3.
fight 4.
I'd have preferred maybe the
3
more
spear supports,
the more traditional sort of frontline Minas Tirith backed up by Rangers for fight 4 everywhere.
Yeah,
fight 3 everywhere.
Court or something.
Ingold and Iralas.
It also hasn't got a banner
outside of Aragorn, but
but it doesn't count as a banner. Hot take, but Boromir with banner I think would be better.
I mean, it is.
What if I told you there was a list going to the events? Sorry, about that has Boromir without the banner.
Oh, that would make me want to. No.
So I think in this specific
very controversial choice.
In this specific format, where if you want to try and win the event, you need to be going for big wins. Not taking a banner is because you're essentially starting games at a 2-0 disadvantage. So suddenly, to get the major victories, you're suddenly needing to score 9 VPs at least to get the major win, which is tricky.
Yeah.
Or you just Aragorn your way straight through to it and just chop it, which is fun.
It's just gonna struggle to shut down other people's big stuff. That sort of thing.
Yeah.
Do we think? Personally, I would bet that the person that wins this event gets at least 2 12-0s, and without a banner, if you're unlucky and you draw a banner scenario, you just can't win the event. We only have cost 3 games with 40 people.
I don't know if the 12-0 is going to be. I think it's just because it's major minor.
What's the second tiebreaker? But
VP diff. So.
Well, yeah. So the first point is just TP scored.
Yeah.
And then the first tiebreaker is VP diff. I think the second one's VP scored.
VP diff. Yeah.
The person who's going to win is just going to be the person that gets 3 majors.
I think quite a lot of people would get 3 majors.
I would bear in mind only 5 people can go 3-0.
Yeah.
So
how many people are going to realistically get 3?
So at this point, I will ask your opinion. So I think that with the way it's structured and knowing from the start the 5 people will go undefeated. Do you think that going major minor win adds I think it's that nice thing of having a major win locked, as opposed to VP diff where you can have a shocker final game. And that could drop you down the rankings. That was why we wanted to do it.
Major minor is definitely the way to go if you're doing this event where you can have 5 people 3-0. Yeah.
So I think the lists that do lead into that, I think you may potentially need a banner. Believe me, there are certain lists that this will just walk through. And also it's more if they haven't got a direct answer to Aragorn, he can just go rampaging through an army.
Yeah, and he's a player where if he gets those right matchups and scenarios, he could easily win the event.
And also bear in mind, this is what Ingold and Iralas can be calling all the moves. So Aragorn could be calling just 3 combats.
True.
All tournament, and to a certain extent, Huron can do the same.
Yeah.
Through fight 4 lines. Huron is a hero that can just run into 2 Black Numenorians and then just run into another one that.
Yeah, the line being fight 3, although it would be nice if it was fight 4, its objective is just to die slow. So
yeah,
double banner Huron. That's pretty nervous.
Yeah, and the 6 knights as well. Like with lances, like if you have a good turn where yes, you'll fight 3, but if you don't fluff the rolls, they can easily kill a lot of shit.
Yes,
So,
it'll be interesting to see how it does.
behave yourself. Oh god, I totally thought you were making out with Curtis. Jesus Christ.
I would.
So
We
sus.
just don't want to know what Bert's done to that cardboard cutout.
Oh
It
my
would make
gosh.
us.
There's some very suspicious stains on the back of it.
Oh my
Oh
god.
god.
What's the book for, Bert? Huh? What are you looking at?
No, I'm just
Don't want to
just the Huron roll, and he's fit and fearless as well.
Yeah, it's pretty tight. So yeah, moving on then. We are going to get into our lists. So Sam, would you want to take us through the Angmar list, please?
Oh my god. Yeah. So it's just pure Angmar. So leader's Witch King. He is what is he? 3 might, 16 will, and 3 fate. What have you? So it's 7 orcs with shield, not the top bit. So 7 orcs with shield.
Oh, have I done that wrong?
7 orcs with
They're
shield
meant
spear.
to have shields. My apologies.
Yeah. So 7 orcs with shield, 7 orcs with shield spear, an orc with banner shield, and
Look
then
at the Barrow Whites warband, 6 with spear and 6 with spear.
Yeah. So 2 specters.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that, Sam. What's going on
Yeah,
there?
no, it's not me, mate.
Sus.
That's Lonely Night for you. Then
Carry on.
Gullivar with 2 Warg Riders with shield, throwing spear, and then 1 wild warg. Barrow White, 6 orcs with shield, 6 orcs with just spear, and then a captain on warg and shield with 6 shield and 6 shield spear. So spam orcs, 2 specters, 3, I guess 4 cab models, including the captain. 48 models in total. 8 might, no bows, standard Angmar.
I mean, this is like the Foul Beings list we saw, but just way better, isn't it?
I think, it's that thing of with like Angmar, it's the Army bows, isn't it? Where within 6, is it within 6 or within 3?
3 inches.
Within 3 inches, like Gulliver or the White, the orcs cause terror.
Or Witch King.
Best army bonus in the game.
Or the Witch King. And it's that thing of the troops, like such a ridiculous army bonus.
Yeah, so good.
And it's that thing of the troops do, like, in terms of dying slowly, not being able to charge them is a really, really good way of making sure they die slowly. And it just buys so much.
Wouldn't Angmar at high points still be pretty good if it didn't have the terror?
No.
No.
Would it be
terrorists?
Would it be complete dog though?
It wouldn't be complete dog, but it would be like
It would be like
a decent army though.
it'd be like low end.
It wouldn't be that Angmar that we know, obviously, but you've still got Witch King Gully and a Barrow White.
Nah, I would put it in the shit category if it had no terror on orcs. Definitely.
I think it'd be like
it would just get killed instantly.
Like a dog or a low nervous maybe.
No, it's top of dog. It would be. It's just it wouldn't have enough time to do its thing.
Yeah, because it'd die.
Because like so essentially with the orcs like that, like it buys like the Witch King or Gulliver, they can flub a combat, and it's gonna be okay. Whereas if you, in a turn, if you flub a combat and you lose like 8 orcs,
yeah,
that's gonna be bad.
If you don't have terror mitigation, this army is so hard to break.
Yeah,
it's just so hard.
Well,
Sam, have you had a flick through the other list as well? So I think this is the list that really, really, really does not want to play against the 48 model defenders with Legolas.
Yeah.
See, there's ways of beating it. I agreed. It's not a great matchup, but I think it's not the end of the year.
No, I'm fairly confident that will be one of the lists that goes into the final round on 2-0.
Oh yeah,
I am fairly confident Sam will go 3-0 at this event.
Oh Ash, don't fucking say that.
I mean, I'd be upset if you don't go 3-0.
I think unless I get a really cursed matchup.
I mean, what matchups do you really not want to play against?
Vanquishers at Lords of Battle.
Rise of the
That's all armies, isn't it?
Like, do you know what I mean? If I play Vanquishers at Lords of Battle, I'll be like, oh, I've lost.
This is cursed.
Bert is going to make that happen.
Do you know what I mean? If it's one of those, fair enough.
My next thing is trying to work out how to do the draw.
Do a draw right now.
Could you do the draw right now?
So I'm trying
do
to work out
the draw.
So essentially, there are ways of me doing it. That this would be one of the. Okay, fine. We could do this pod, then give me like 10 minutes, and then I think I have a way of doing the draw.
You literally just get a wheel
look at this.
online, put everyone's names, and then just wheel, and then remove the names as you do the wheel.
It would take so long to add it onto the pod, though. It's fine.
Actually, would it?
Look at this bonus content.
Actually, no. In fairness,
just do it.
In fairness, we actually could do it because if I have the list of names and numbers in front of me,
copy paste.
and then
do you want me to edit on? So we'll take a break.
No. Hang on, Elliot. If you're screen sharing, then essentially we could do. So it would have to be a second video. It needs to be a second video.
Yeah, that's fine.
But we actually could do the draw tonight.
Okay, we'll talk about the logistics afterwards.
Yeah,
but yes,
but we can do it. We can do it.
Okay, so we'll come to that after. So Ash, to your point though, for Sam to go 3-0, I think you've used Angmar obviously enough at this point, probably with the field that's going to the event, unless you play Vanquishers and Lords.
Unless you have an unbelievably terrible matchup, I'm backing you right here, right now, Sam. You're gonna.
Don't forget, Sam. You're an absolute weapon with this army.
Or if you ever
forget that.
Oh, never say that to him. Why would you feed his ego like that?
Yeah, don't do that though, Vince.
Never do
really
that.
Don't know him.
Sam, that's just an odd comment from you, but Sam doesn't have an ego at all. He just gets bad luck all the time and
that
never
is
wins.
cap.
Nah, Sam's ego is small.
No.
Let's go.
I mean, it's one thing. I absolutely adore you boys, but giving you lot genuine compliments, like I mean it, but it does hurt my soul quite a lot.
No, I've used Angmar a lot. I know what to do. I know how it works. I know that. I mean, I've gone for 16 Will on the Witch team because you can. I guess people would go for another Barrow White instead of a captain if you really are that Chad. You don't want much, but if you don't, I think you kind of need to be able to reliably cast with the Witch King all the time. So 16.
I also went 16 Will on the Witch King.
Yeah. And like if you have, it just depends on the amount of Angmar, magic, and Angmar needs a lot of magic to do what it needs to do. So the 2 Spectres, I did have 3 originally in the list that I made, but again, when you go high points, you get more anti-terror mitigation through Aura of Command, you get more bodyguard, you get more, everything. You get more elves, you get everything. That's just better in courage-wise. So is there going to be loads of Spectre targets? No. Is 2 ample? It's probably fine. I can make it work, I think.
When I saw you with 2, though, I saw it was 1 more than at the previous time that we did a preview episode. So, Vince, we managed him to put in 1 more Deadmarch Spectre, which is a dub.
I don't know if,
it's 100 points more.
I don't know if it was your
105 points more.
Yeah.
I saw that. I like the 2 Deadmarch Spectres.
It's a dub for us, Vince.
I did have 3, but then I thought, nah, 2.
Right.
1 more, though. There's a
You couldn't do it.
So any closing comments on Sam's list? It's Angmar. It's a really fucking good list.
This is 11 list.
Right,
we're not doing a tier.
I was actually going to ask. Yes, where would we put it for this event?
This would be lemon. Yeah,
it's lemon. Yeah. I played against this kind of thing, and it's just it's oh Jesus. Why am I saying this? It's also very much one of those like skill reflective lists. Like when you see someone see this do well, I'll get really good at the game.
Look at that smile. Look at that smile.
If you see a new player see this do well, go, I'll play that. They're gonna get smoked.
It's punishing.
But in the hands of someone, okay, I'm done.
Let's move on.
But it can actually do well. Go on.
I think another thing to do is they just to note is that Gullivar can, the captain on Wild can team up with Gullivar so that the captain can do a combat and not spend Gullivar's might and stuff like that, which is another important thing. Which
Don't give away all your secrets.
Sorry, I'm not sure the fuck up.
It's on this list, like it's so beautifully reactive that like how often do you call moves with this list?
Oh, never. Totally never.
90 points.
You don't have to.
Yeah.
Let them charge you. Or
let them fail all their terror tests and then go, Gullivar, you lose.
Sam, I did just think of something though. At Imps at 900 points, what did you add in?
Another Barrow White.
Oh, and more troops.
Yep, I think I had like 54 models.
You have
50.
a captain on Mark. I don't remember that.
Huh? Yeah.
Did you have a Captain Awag? Oh,
Yeah.
It's one of my Chad conversions.
I've got it's a Gothmog Wag with a dude on top.
With an excellent Battle Companies guy.
No, he's got his
thimble.
I don't know. I've got one that's got he's got like a sword that doing that point with.
Yeah, there's a captain. Captain that does that.
Yeah.
And then,
what was that? The name of that rule, Sam, from Golf Thimble?
Impressive girth.
I thought, but is it not in the quiz? But
no, it's not.
That's fucking boring.
Oh,
Yeah, impressive.
No, so
yeah, it is.
It's again for people who actually get this far in the video, then congratulations. There is in fact a Lord of the Rings round in the quiz. It just happens to be one question.
Oh.
And then the rest is a random assortment of things that Bert and people he works with have come up with.
Is there a flag on there? Please say there's a flag.
No flag.
No, there's not a flag.
No flag questions for you.
No.
That's OP. So yeah, moving on from Sam's list, we have my Mordor Serpent.
Here we go.
So also 48 models, just like
Meta
Sam.
Chaser.
Also like Sam.
What is this monstrosity?
And also 16 wheel on the Witch King. So for the audio listeners, I am running the Witch King 316-3, 3 Orc Trackers, 5 Moranas with Shield Spear, 1 Morana with only a spear, and 6 Black Nuns. We have the Mouth on horse with 4 Trackers, 4 Moranas with Shield Spear, 1 Morana with just a spear again, and 5 Black Nuns. Then we have Musgur with 3 Orc Trackers, 4 Moranas with Shield Spear, and 4 Black Nuns. And then we have Suladan with horse, obviously, with 2 Horadrim Raiders with bow and spear, and 2 Serpent Riders. For 48 models, Mordor Serpent Horde. It's my first time using Witch King.
Your answer to the Mouth of Sauron or Musgur debate is take both.
Both.
Yeah.
Yeah, why not? They're cheap. And yeah, I mean, so although it's like, yeah, you know, Witch King and Black Nuns and Suladan and stuff are obviously really good. I've been wanting to.
They are hot right now.
Like Magic and sort of the, you know, triple transfix lists, like with rates and stuff for a little while. The last couple months, I've been wanting to try it out. So this is the first event where I finally got most of it, you know, painted up. And
what is your line breaker?
My what? Sorry. Well, I don't really have one. Suladan.
Yeah,
Suladan on horse.
I think that's my only concern with this list.
Yeah. So it's like, I guess if
it's missing the shag rat piece.
Yeah, it's like if I can shut down their.
Not necessarily sure about that, but I will actually defend Elliot here, and I don't think.
Oh no! I'm not saying it's bad, but I think it's undeniable that it is missing a hitting piece.
I would think that you're missing the point in the fact that the triple transfix means you don't need to have a hitting piece. You stop the opponent doing anything, you then charge Saladin and the Mouth in and potentially the Witch King, and then your line outgrinds his line and you win.
So if I'm not charging in the Witch King and I charge in the Mouth and Suladan, they are both 5 on horse. So if I don't play elves and stuff, like, you know, all those Suladan's my banner, like, yeah, it's risky, obviously, you know, chucking him in, but it's
not that risky. Like on the charge you have 5 dice, and as long as you pick your moments well, you've neutralized your opponent's heroes that are going to be any threat to Suladan.
Yeah, then he should be sort of like fine. I don't know.
I think it's obviously this list is very good. I think there's only a few very minor things that I think could be changed. One of them is so you mentioned previously that you also had 16 will on the Witch King.
Yes.
With 2 other casters, 16 maybe.
It was 1
or 2.
Yeah, I thought about that. It was like I could take less if I took like I was at one point maybe going to take Cardouche, so then I can afford to take less because I could sacrifice Cardouche. But then I took away Cardouche. So it's like with him being my leader as well. If, like we said, it doesn't maybe have the best killing power, there could be a scenario where I need to get the Witch King into combat. Having that extra will is like, you know, a sort of insurance policy in that sense. Yeah, and that was the thinking. But yeah, I get the idea.
I could see you doing very well with this list, Elliot. However, it is you, so we'll wait and see.
I think
Tell you win the event, no.
It'll be like an hour and 45 minutes into round 3. Elliot's gone 2-0. He'll just
That is perfect timing, Bert. Yeah,
it is. And like I will be at your table at that point in the tournament if you're 2-0.
cheering me on. Of course.
I'll just no. There will just be. He'll just go. Oh no.
Oh shit. Oh,
yeah,
fuck.
that is definitely going to happen.
I think that's the problem is if you don't have targets for your triple transfix, you're then a bit. It comes down to you need to play this list and have a good amount of practice games with it. So then
it is only my first time using an event.
That's what I mean. So I think lack of experience with this list will be your downfall currently. I don't think you if you take this in 2 tournaments time, you'll have much better idea and how to understand how to play it more than you would.
I could totally still do fine with it though, but I get what you're saying. With obviously with more tournament reps, I'm obviously going to get a lot better with it. But
you will make mistakes in this tournament, and that and that might lose you the game, and you'll look back in a tournament or two and think, I totally, and it's just going to be it's harder.
Yeah.
It's hard to just pick up and instantly to.
Of course, I could though. I mean, like you say, I'm likely to make mistakes, and I will make mistakes because it's my first time using it. They could end up not being game-losing mistakes, and I could still do well at the event, and then obviously learn from them. They could be game-losing mistakes as well, so it goes both ways.
It could be game-losing. It could be like if you don't get enough return out of Mosger, if you don't get enough return out of the mouth, it's just going to be.
Yeah, and like when to chuck them in, and like when to chuck in Solar down and stuff, and then also as well, it does have 10 trackers who are D3. Like, yes, it's 48 models, but so if the line starts to die, then what then? So
I like that you're saying this list takes a lot of skill to pilot well. That makes me happy.
It's because of the triple transfix.
Oh,
yeah. So like,
it's the reason.
Is this the last list that we're looking at?
Yes.
Am I allowed to mention a couple of others that I think are ones to watch?
Go on, Bert.
One is a 44 model Lothlorien.
Before you carry on, where are we ranking my list? Because we rank Sam's.
Are we factoring in player skill?
So
how Elliot will do the event with it.
I think it's silly nervous.
When we did all the other tier lists, it was always like using it in
the best possible
players' hands.
Yeah, if it's the best players' hands, this is probably also lemon.
Yeah. I think this list. I think if you ran this tournament 100 times, I think this list comes in somewhere from 4th to 8th very consistently.
I think it's silly nervous. I don't think it's quite as good as Sam's. But it's close. I think it's silly nervous.
Like what percentage of the time do you think you're podiuming the event with this list?
I mean, so against the Angmar matchup, I mean, so hopefully Gullivar doesn't really do much, and then my line should beat his line.
Gullivar would do a lot.
He totally could end up not doing that much though.
Why?
Because I have triple transfix.
But are you in range all the time?
I could be.
It's 12 inches, and you've got 12-inch fly.
Yeah.
I think you're
gonna have to send him in at some point though.
Oh yeah, no, but like you bear in mind it's you move, and then it's I move.
You wait for the right time to do
and
it.
Then it's I'm gonna compel that dude. Now he's within 12. Now I fly in. Now I combat, and now I'm onto one of your heroes.
Yeah, that can happen.
And you have to bubble wrap Saladin, Mosgur, Mouth, and Witch King.
I would like to see the matchup. That'd be a cool. It'd be a cool round 3 match.
Yeah, it's tough. As Sam said, it's really tough playing Angmar. So.
Angmar, yeah.
So in terms of like counters to both, and I think this particular player very likely will go 2-0 for the first 2 rounds. I have a 44 model Lothlorien list.
Is this the Dembinator?
It is the Dembinator.
Let's go.
I think 44 model Lothlorien with resistant to magic is a very, very solid list.
Oh yeah.
With what was it? Yeah, three guards of the Galadriel Court. How many? It's a decent chunk of bows.
16 bows.
Yeah, that's really chunky.
With
He's
blinding
really
light,
good on
that's
bows. He's got
outshooting
magic.
everything.
And also, Orifin is, I think, low key one of the best line breakers in the game.
Until Gulliver goes into him and he dies.
That
One of the
But-
best line breaks in the game. That's stretching it a bit far, but
I think in a
Jamie.
no, honestly, like for his point, getting 3 strikes at fight 6, and that fight 6 just means that you are
2 strikes.
consistently
2 strikes.
he's 3 attacks.
Oh, sorry, attacks.
yeah, but still, I mean,
He's
three
such
three
a,
attacks
he's
are straight
such-
4. I mean,
Yeah, but
it's all right.
it's such a consistent way just to burn through a front line and not lose fights.
You
It's
chuck
really
him
not,
into the
though.
front line.
It's literally
He
a
then
raspberry.
loses a move roll off. He then gets charged by a striking hero on a horse, like Huron, who's the same points, and he goes into the Nether Realm. And
You have to use Orifin very, very well, and you have to not make a mistake. And especially with a list, even this list from Elliot or my list, if Stephen misplaces Haldir or Orifin,
They did.
dead, game losing. Because they've only got 1 will, yeah, they got resistant, but unless you're rolling Rivendell dice, which he most likely won't be, because he's using Lothlorien, if he's one of those people,
Oh yeah, I think he uses Fangorn dice.
it's not a reliable way to always, resist spells.
The Rivendell
Yeah.
dice are reliable.
Like, it is very good. It also can lose quite easily if you misplay those heroes. If it doesn't do enough with shooting, if you've got a lot of D6, it can also just, as Sam said, the heroes can just get munched, and then you just charge in and strike with your mounted heroes and you win.
Yeah.
It won't win many scenarios 12-0, which is what you need to do in this event.
Yeah, it will definitely do well. It will definitely win.
Over a 6-game event, it's a lot stronger.
What I like is how we don't know how many major wins you're actually going to need to podium. I like that that's the unknown factor.
To win the event, you'll need 3 majors.
Yeah, you'll need 3 majors to win. You'll probably get 2 people. I reckon you get 2 people that will go 3-0 major wins, and then you get.
I think you're right, but it would also be really, really cool if we go into final round and only like 2 people are on. Like 2 major wins, just because you get a scenario like destroy the supplies, and suddenly it's fairly difficult to get like massive margin of victory.
True.
Depends on how many.
Yeah, exactly.
What were the other lists that you wanted to mention briefly about?
Shout out to Jordan O'Brien for bringing the Watcher and just embracing chaos. I think that's always
Top
just sorry. Top bloke.
Yeah.
Absolutely lovely bloke. And I think that really just could cause chaos. I've got to shout out Zahir because he's using the
The other defenders.
Well, the defenders build that. So how the ringer is working is very much the Addy build. So I am in terms of if we do drop down to 39 and I can't find a last minute player, then
Vince will jump in and you won't need a ringer.
Hang on, Vince, where are you based?
I live in Kingsland and London.
So if you wanted to come, so essentially there are some people are coming along and not staying for the meal. So if you wanted to like come along and be the ringer, and
it doesn't count for GBHL.
Things have just got interesting.
No,
better to do, Vince.
Okay. No. What I'm saying is, if we get a last minute drop, if Vince is there, then the spot is his, and it will count for GBHL.
He's already on standby though. He'll be there in an hour.
I love the way Vince said it stinks of not interesting.
Stinks of boring.
No, Vince, turn up. There's a guarantee someone drops out, and then you get a free meal as well. incredible scenes.
Free meal quiz, and also someone else for the Gollum's Gamers quiz team.
You get to watch
let's
us win as well.
Let's see how the week goes. Let's see how it goes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lay off.
I think that's every list that I particularly think. If we do not have another player on standby, then I will be the ringer, and like Ali did at City of Kings, I will be in the rankings and then remove myself at the end. And the ringer list is exactly what Zahir is bringing as well, which is the defenders list with Legolas and Gimli, Haleth, Gamling, Théoden.
Yeah,
because I just think it's very me. I think it's a ton of fun, and I think it's good. I'm just unbelievably unlucky, and that's the only reason I haven't won like 4 GBHL 100s this year.
Oh,
basically.
that is obviously
you are one of the luckiest players anyone plays against, Bert. You can't. That's like the opposite of a truth. That's an anti-fact. What you just said.
An anti-fact.
I also just want to quickly
Ash is the new
point,
Trump.
if we've got loads of time, if we've got time, the idea of playing the ringer as Ali King did it, as opposed to playing it just to lose.
Oh yeah, definitely
that's a good idea.
Oh no. The ringer playing to lose, it takes away from the integrity of the game.
Yeah,
and this is also a big thing of like, I know I've already made a comment about this, but again, if people have made it this far, when making your most sporting vote, it really does come down to, I really want people to vote for someone who played the game in a very aggressive, competitive way, but did so in a way where any disputes were easily resolved, didn't whinge about losing roll-offs. But
everyone's always going to have their own subjective view of.
I know, but I really want to push this idea that I want the most sporting player to like have played like really tough competitive games, because that's
isn't something you can really define though.
It's not how it works.
I guess that's how you want it to be, but that's not.
I would like it to adhere to the code of conduct as in the rulebook, which it does include playing a competitive game, and that does matter.
But not everyone goes to events to play competitive.
Yeah, what's deemed as a competitive game?
Oh god, if I open that can of worms.
Your point there is all subjective. You can't enforce that.
I'm ultimately on your side, but at the same time, it's like, it is completely subjective. Yeah,
it's like all the armies I use, and
you know it is.
I know.
I could be as nice as possible, and I'll never win it, which is fair enough.
But essentially, as the moral arbitrator of the universe, my opinion should just hold more weight.
Omnipresent,
as TO for the event and guest on our podcast, it is hard to argue with that. But on that note, as our guest, Bert, I would like to thank you for coming on this episode. Thank you very much.
It has been a pleasure,
and for the insight as always. That is going to wrap up the preview for this event. So depending on how it goes, we may do a review, but looking forward to it this weekend. Had this one in the calendar for quite a while. So thank you very much, everyone, for watching another episode of the Gollum's Gamers podcast.